How big is the team that you go with?
Well, it depends. We try to take cowboys with us. A lot of folks are whether working cowboys or rodeo cowboys, and so it's great out here because a lot of the guys and ladies donate their time and they come out and spend time with us. So we'll typically take 5 or 6 people with us. It depends on the clinic. A lot of times they don't. Different rules, different places. So it depends on how big you can do that, but. It's amazing. The rodeo family and the Western culture and the Western world has been such a supportive family of that, and it's the best thing I do. I mean, it's the greatest thing I do. We just came off of a comedy tour. We did 35 cities this year. We were sponsored by Rank Rodeo Threads. It has a booth over there on aisle 600. And we did 35 cities, and every city we go to, we try to do these hospital visits. And we like to say we do laughs at night and smiles in the daytime, And it's the best thing we do. It's incredible meeting these families and these kids. Well, and it's hard because one of our rules is you can't cry. If you go visit, you can't cry. And if you feel like you're going to cry, and trust me, I'm a crier. Shut up, Frank! You got to leave the room, And so, we spend a lot of time, walking around going, I'm fine. I'm okay.
It's sinus or hay fever, right? Yeah.
We have a few rules. That's the hardest one, no crying. Because, and I have 5 kids. I didn't know if I might need some spare parts or something, one day. I was like, come on, kid, we're going to the doctor. Daddy needs a liver, especially after being in Vegas. No, So I love kids. And so I've got them from 19 down to 9, and
so you understand the agony of a 19-year-old.
I don't understand anything about a 19-year-old girl. Nothing. No, I'm blessed with really great kids, and they got a great value system, and they love the Lord. And it's I don't know how I did it.
Right.
I don't take any credit for how good my kids are. People are like, "Wow, you have the best children," and I'm like, "I didn't do it."
Exactly.
I get it. Thing to do with it.
Tell us a little bit about, outside your comedy, what else you were on Ride, you were doing a show on Ride. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, so I've always been on stage somewhere. Most of it was in the form of motivational speaking, and I worked with a lot of nonprofit organizations over the years. And I've been literally all over the world numerous times for the last 25 years. And first time I was ever on TV, I was 2 years old. So I've always had a microphone in front of me at some point in time. And,
I noticed you held it right. I'm like, he's got that figured out.
Yeah, you got to get this thing right into your mouth. These things, it's like eating an ice cream cone. You take it all the way to the elbow. But so I did that, and then I got into the corporate world for about 5 years with a Fortune 300 company. I was doing a lot of sales training and things like that, and it just wasn't where my heart was. And so I called my wife. I was actually at the gym. I was not in the gym. I was at the gym. You don't go in.
You just
know
check
what?
in.
I found out the hard way that you can't get a membership just to watch. They want you to do stuff in there, and I don't like doing stuff. So I was in the parking lot of the gym. I called my wife on the phone, and I said, "Babe, I've been depressed. I've been just down." And I said, I got to quit this job. She said, "Whatever you need to do, I support that." I said, "That's great, because I've already quit." And so she said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, I have a plan. I'm going to make a living just being myself." Try saying that to your wife. She said, "Chad, what is the street value on your personality these days?" And I said, "It's about like President Obama giving a keynote address at the NRA convention. It is #worthless." So she said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I said, I'm gonna make a living on Facebook." And she said, "So you're going to quit your job and give up your retirement for Facebook?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You couldn't do that at night?" So, I basically said, here's my philosophy of life. Vision, passion, discipline, and risk. You got to have those 4 ingredients. You got to start with a vision where you see beyond your boundaries. That thing should get you up in the morning. That leads to passion. Passion is what drives you, And I work harder today than I have ever worked in my life, but I love doing what I do, and the rewards are incredible. But you got to discipline yourself to make that success happen, and then you got to risk. And that was a risk. That was a big risk for me to say, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to pursue this life that I want. And it's been a real blessing.
Well, and one thing I think is important to address, because I know there's so many out there that do have passion and do have vision, but they get stomped on by people around them. And
well, that's going to happen. Look, let's face it. Everybody's got an opinion about something, and we hold on to the negative so much. We were talking about that. It's amazing. I can go through I get thousands of comments on a video, and I can go through, and everybody's like, love the video, love this, love these words, love what you do, love this. You're an idiot. I'm going to hang on to the idiot comment all day long.
True.
Because deep down I know I am. And it registers in my soul. My mother has always told me that that's why I want Bob Jean to call her.
Well, that's so great that you're touching on that, because how do you walk away from that negative? Because it really
It's
can
hard.
bring you down.
It's hard. Well, first of all, so I'm 44, and it took me a long time to get comfortable in my own skin and get secure about who I am and not trying to be somebody else. Somebody a long time ago said that it's impossible to wear two faces or two masks to the world without, before long, you forget which one is the real one. You got to be yourself, and that's the thing. So many people, a great illustration is this. You go read the Bible in the Old Testament. King David he was a songwriter, and there's an obscure verse in Scripture that says that he actually created instruments to play. It's one thing to be able to play something, but to create an instrument that's never been made because you have this sound that you want to make in music, but there's not an instrument that makes that sound, so you go out and create it. That's impressive. When you look at that, I think that we as individuals are instruments that God looked into the world and said, you know, I need to make a sound with a certain voice, and I don't have that instrument created yet. So I'm going to make you. I'm going to make a Sabrina, and she's going to make a certain sound in the world that nobody else can make. The problem is we're trying to make everybody else's sound, you know, and stop being an echo and be your own voice. And it's hard to do because everybody's going to criticize you for being yourself. But ultimately, that's the only way to live your life.
Well, and I have to say, you did well during the election, being yourself.
Oh, yes. Was that a huge... I mean, that was a risk, starting to talk about politics like you did and take the stand.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do it?
Influence. I love America. I love our military. I love our veterans. I love our police officers, our first responders, folks that put on a uniform every day and risk their lives. And I think that they deserve the absolute best we can give them in terms of honor and respect. I think the financial support, the help, whatever they need, we've got to do that. And so when I look at politics, I think, hey, here's an opportunity to make our country stronger for folks like that, because they're the ones protecting us and taking care of it. So I have people all the time who say, don't talk about politics. Are you kidding me? I got 5 kids. This influences their future. This matters. And so, you know, I want my kids to be outspoken about what they believe and what they know their values are. And so I'm not going to shy away from it, even if it, you know, causes people to criticize me. I just know that even though I've done it and some people don't like it, the following keeps getting bigger and bigger, so I must be doing something.
Right, you're doing it right,
Yeah.
definitely.
I'm not worried about it. I mean, it's not like I count. I mean, we're only at 416,367,414 views, but it's
He's
not like I'm
not counting.
counting.
He's not counting.
I got kids in Southeast Asia going, we look at the Chad, poke. Let me tell you, until you've been poked in Thailand, you hadn't been poked.
Well,
You know
What? Yep. Are you speechless?
I only have
Are you speechless?
361.
But you didn't have a problem with them stealing from the recycled spoon.
No, I'm not
but-
speechless. It
but
just makes
that-
you
I'm
laugh.
giving you so much
Thailand.
business. Look at you.
Oh, wow.
Give her a microphone.
Well, Chad, you know, what you said is so very true, because children learn what they live, and we have a responsibility to the younger generation, our children, and in my case, my grandson, your grandchildren, you know, your children, and that is we need to take a stand, and we need to stand for something, or, you know, we stand for nothing at all.
Well, and you know, and I agree with you, because the whole concept of our show started from what the Lord told me to do, and what Marie said, listen to Lord, what the Lord's telling you to do. And that was a risk, because you're talking about your faith and wanting to make a platform, but you got to do what you got to do, and you got to follow your heart, and you got to follow your passion, and you get honored in doing so.
You do. That's the only way to be fulfilled. And you know, when I said vision, passion, discipline, and risk, you got to do it in that order, because listen to this for a second. Let's take it backwards. Risk without discipline is recklessness. That's like jumping out of an airplane without having the discipline to make sure the parachute was packed right. So risk without discipline is recklessness. Discipline without passion is legalism. That's just rules and regulations. Nobody wants to live like that. Passion without vision is hype. That's just cheerleading. It gets you nothing. But vision without faith is meaningless. And not only faith in God, but faith in yourself, as we're talking about. You got to believe that you can accomplish that vision, which is so big. You know, who knows? There could be a tornado outside right now. We don't know because our vision is closed in by these four walls. We can't see beyond our horizons. Vision is that ability to see that. And, you know, July the 4th, 1776, key date in history. King George was in England. He wrote in his diary on that day, "Nothing important happened today." He didn't know that in the colonies across the Atlantic Ocean, a place that was under his rule and reign, independence had just been declared. Revolution had been broadcast towards him and said, "Hey, look, we're taking this country away from you." But he didn't have the vision to see that far. He didn't have that. He didn't know for weeks, months that had happened. And so that's our problem, is we live not knowing that there's a huge horizon out there where your dreams can come true.
That's so, you know, and that's so impressive. And I know we're almost out of time. We just got about a couple minutes, but you two are very inspirational, and I appreciate you guys. They're wonderful, and everything you're speaking of, everything you've done is just a testament, and what you've done with Make-A-Wish. Wow, I mean, it's speechless. I mean, you guys are out changing people's lives. And, you know, you probably thought when Chad came on, you know, again, this is how the Lord works. You just never know where it's going to go, and we just kind of let him lead. You know, depth, roots, history, you know, we love it. And you being part of the Western way of life, which is something I need to ask you and Chad before we end the show. Why the Western way?
Well, I can't remember the 10 characteristics of Western life, the rules, but
Code of the West.
The biggest thing is the Western way of life is the integrity, the I believe in country, God, mom, apple pie, always help the others. It's all about other people and not yourself.
Love it. And Chad?
Well, you know, historically, the cowboy culture really only lasted about 5 years in the 1800s. And the legacy of it, though, has lived on. In fact, the term cowboy wasn't even a popular, it was kind of an insult when you called somebody that in those days. So that self-discipline, that self-respect, that respect for other people, that work ethic is something that by and large gets lost in today's culture, but we call that back. And that's what I want to do. You know, when I put on I wear a cowboy hat, and I do my videos in the cowboy hat. I know this cowboy hat probably keeps me back from a lot of things because people immediately want to judge you when they see it. They don't understand that. But to me, it says that it is a lifestyle of work and ethics and values and respect, and that's what I want to honor.
I love it.
If I can touch, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
If I can touch just quick on the cowboy hat, you mentioned Ellis Island Medal of Honor. And they requested, because this is a black tie formal affair, they requested that I wear a cowboy hat just to show that culture. And then also I was a commencement speaker at Ohio State University this past year. And again, a very formal ceremony, in fact, 19,000 people in the stadium. And the president requested that I wear the cowboy hat. He said, "You were the first one to ever wear a hat during the process," but they wanted to express that culture that represents.
Love it.
So just what you're saying about the cowboy hat.
Western way. Well, give these two a round of applause. We're going to let them go, and thank you so much for being a part of our show today.
Thank you.